to the class of 10th standard. Today we'll continue the remaining part of the genetics and we'll try to end the chapter. And the topic that will be discussed today is sex determination. What are the criteria or how sex is determined in organism. Second is sex determination in human being. Third, sex-linked inheritance like X-linked inheritance and Y-linked inheritance. Examples of sex-linked disorders like hemophilia and color blindness. Third, hypertrichosis of ear, which is Y-linked. Mutation, what are mutagens? A brief introduction to that. What are physical mutagens and chemical mutagens? Examples. Now, let us begin with sex determination. Now, as you know, that sex is determined in any organism by certain factors. Like, for example, environment is also a factor. Crocodile's eggs at high temperature induces maleness. That means if you keep an egg in high temperature, say 29 degrees centigrade or more, the crocodile's egg hatch into males more. Turtles, 28 degrees centigrade male, 33 degrees centigrade female, 28 to 33 degrees centigrade female. So you can see that environment is just an example that environment can play a role in the determination of sex. The second thing is the genetic determination. This is found among the bacteria. Like say in the plasmid, there are certain factors which we call the sex factor. The presence of the sex factor in the plasmid can convert a strain, one strain into another strain. Suppose a plus strain bacteria can convert a minus strain bacteria into plus strain by introduction of the sex factor. So we say here that there are certain genes which also determine the factor. The third is the chromosomal determinants. In chromosomal determinants, you know that like XX is female in case of human being, XY in men. The reverse is also found in birds and reptiles, where we say it like WW in case of male and WY in case of female. We change the alphabet as because they are just the reverse. So chromosomal determinants are also there. Plus there are certain other determinants like which is beyond the scope of your knowledge, that sometimes the ratio of autosomes to sex chromosomes also can influence the maleness or the femaleness or intermediate certain groups. Now we'll just go and refer to how in human being the sex is determined. So in human being, you know, the female have 44 autosomes and one pair of sex chromosomes. They are X and X. Okay, they are what we say that is a similar type in male 44 autosomes plus XY, which is the sex chromosome here. Now, when meiosis takes place in the formation of the ovum, we are showing just one step. It becomes 22 plus X and 22 plus X because the chromosome becomes half in the autosomes as well as in the sex chromosome. In similarly, when meiosis is taking place in the testis, the formation of the sperm takes place. The sperms have either 22 autosomes plus X or 22 autosomes plus Y. So these are the two types that we can get in the division of the sex chromosome. We are division of the chromosome, of autosomes and sex chromosome. Now, when the fertilization takes place between the sperm and ovum, what are the possibilities? Like from sperm, we see 22 plus X plus 22 plus Y. In ovum, we have 22 plus X and 22 plus X because both will be of the same type. Okay, they are what we call that these are both the ovumes have the same possibility. Now, when fertilization takes place, so when this two unites 44 plus XX, this will be a female, 44 plus XY, a male, 44 plus XX female, 44 plus XY male. So the ratio of maleness to femaleness is always 1:1. So one thing which we can say here, that who is the determinant of the male? It is the father. So one who donates the Y chromosome, he is responsible for the maleness. So it is not the mother who is responsible for the maleness, because mother is always contributing the X chromosome. Father is contributing either X or Y. So if the Y fuses with the X, any of the X of the mother, it will result to a boy child, and or else it will be a girl child. So we say the ratio of maleness to maleness to femaleness is always 1:1. This is which is in the normal case of meiosis. This is how the fertilization takes place and determination of the sex takes place. Now, we'll go to the third topic, that what we call the sex-linked inheritance. Okay, so let us see here a little bit about the sex-linked inheritance. Now, sex-linked inheritance means that we have two types of chromosome. One is called the X chromosome, and the other is Y chromosome. Now, X chromosome also, beside telling about the sex of an individual, it carries other genes also. So any gene which is carried on the X chromosome is called a X-linked gene. Now, this X-linked gene can be a dominant gene, or it can be a recessive gene. If it is on the Y chromosome, we call it a Y-linked gene, or also known as a Hollandric gene. Now, we are going to discuss about certain genetical diseases or disorders which are X-linked. Like, say for example, hemophilia, color blindness, and hypertrichosis of ear. Hemophilia and color blindness is X-linked, and hypertrichosis of ear is Y-linked. Now let us see suppose if the mother is possessing a colorblind gene on the X chromosome, because it is X-linked, it will be always on the X chromosome, and the other X chromosome is normal. So we say this is a carrier female. If the father is having this recessive gene which is denoted in small letter, the father will be affected by color blindness. So in case of father will always be colorblind if he possesses the gene. Mother can be a carrier. Mother will be affected when both the genes will be in homozygous condition, that we say that both are in C, small c. We see it is a affected mother. Now, other cases XY, normal, XX, this is normal male, this is normal female. Now, suppose a father is affected with color blindness and the mother is a carrier of color blindness. Now, why mother is carrier? Because since this gene is a recessive gene, the other X is normal, this X gene suppresses this recessive gene. This is acting here as a dominant. But since the father do not have another X gene, since it is carrying one X gene and the C colorblind gene is carried on the X chromosome, this will be affected male. Now, during fertilization, what are the factors. This will give XC and Y. This will give XC and X. Because in the gametogenesis or meiosis, they will divide. Half will go to this and half will go to the mother in the ovum. So when sperm and the ovum fuses, XC fertilizes. This will be a female affected. XCX, this will be a carrier because one of the X is normal. XCY, this will be a male affected, and this is XY, normal male. Now these are the possibilities. Like this you can find out all the possibilities of the maleness or the male affected and the female affected in the colorblind gene. Same thing can be done in case of hemophilia. So hemophilia is also a recessive gene which is carried on the X chromosome, and you can find out all the possibilities of crosses between a normal father and a colorblind mother, or carrier mother and normal father, or affected mother and a normal father. So all the possibilities can be found by making this type of crosses. Now, so we call this, all these genes which are on the X chromosome are X-linked. But this type of Y-linked gene also can be there. Now what are Y-linked gene? Like say for example, hypertrichosis of ear. I have mentioned here, hypertrichosis of ear is a Y-linked gene. So this is actually expressed by having hairs on the earlobe. Now this is always carried on the Y chromosome. Now if this Y chromosome is carrying this gene of hairs on the ear, Y always passes from the father to the son. So if the father is having hair on the ear, the son is also going to have the hair on the ear. So that is what we call a Y-linked gene or hypertrichosis of the ear. So this to hemophilia and color blindness we call it X-linked, and hypertrichosis of ear is called the Y-linked gene. Now one thing that we have to know here, that in case of sex-linked inheritance, particularly which is X-linked, we have a type of inheritance which is called a crisscross inheritance. Now what is the meaning of this? That if the father is affected, the daughters will be affected, and if the daughter is affected, from that daughter the son will be affected, because the father always gives the X chromosome to the daughter, and the daughter gives X chromosome to the son, and it can also give to the daughter. So it is always carried. If you see here, that if the father is affected, then in both the cases daughter is carrying the XC gene, and if the daughter is affected, in the next generation the son will be affected. So always this type of crisscross inheritance is a characteristic of the sex-linked gene. So remember this, that you can easily find out in a pedigree chart or the inheritance chart, that if the father is affected and the daughter is affected, and from the daughter their sons are affected, then it can be a sex-linked gene which is carried. And you know, hemophilia is an example which is found in the royal family of the England, and Queen Victoria, she was a carrier, and it is carried in the generation of this. That's why their blood is always to be tested. Means the prospective bride and the groom have always to be tested with the gene, that whether the hemophilia gene is present or not. Now, the last thing that we are going to know a little bit is about the mutation. Now what is mutation? Mutation is a sudden change